so we have another movie, and I think I'm going to be wearing some fancy dress for
Are
this.
you? Are you going to put it on?
Well, I put it on before, but then we talked about something else.
Yeah, I just thought you just happened to come in wearing a... So for people who can't see, Simon is now putting on a black robe.
Yeah.
It looks like you can't... No, but you can't see which way is up on it, can you? Just bung it over your head. So, Priest 3D, which is described as a post-apocalyptic action horror film from Scott Stewart, starring Paul Bettany. And
Is he a priest?
He's a priest, yeah. He is the priest. But he's a priest in... Okay, so it's post-apocalyptic fantasy in which the story is you showing everybody what you look like dressed as a priest, fine. Which the story is that in the past there was vampires everywhere, and there was a war between the vampires and between the priests, who are essentially the kind of hitman type going out, sorting out the vampires. They managed to basically overcome the vampire threat. Now people are believing that the vampire threat is quelled. So consequently, the priests no longer have any role. Actually, funnily enough, there is a thematic comparison here. You can hear this creaking, and there's a thematic comparison with what 13 Assassins is. It's like the outmoded code. They were raised to be vampire-killing priests, but now that time has passed, and now they have nothing to do. But then there is an attack in the middle of a sort of wasteland out in Jericho, in which a family are attacked, and a young woman is kidnapped. And Paul Bettany, who is one of these priests, who is now basically...
is he a Methodist?
No, I don't think you can have Methodist vampire hunters.
Well, why not?
Well, I don't think the Methodists believe in vampires.
Is he a Baptist?
No, he's just an...
Church of England?
Yeah, he's C of E. He's C of E. He says, look, a little bit of the... a little less of the get thee behind me, Satan, a little more of the come in, old chap, and have a cup of tea. Anyway, so I wanted to play you a clip of Paul Bettany as a vampire hunting priest. Good. Because actually, one of the things I think is, you know what I think about 3D, but Priest 3D starring Paul Bettany sounded to me like a good idea. This is... Have you got it? This is the clip that they gave us of Paul Bettany.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Your words mean nothing to them, priest.
For thou art with me.
That's it.
Ah.
Do you want to hear a longer clip with some other people?
Well, it depends. Is it any good?
Let's hear a bit of it.
You must be starving. You haven't eaten in days. Have you ever had real roast duck?
Of course not.
Try it. You'll never have better.
What are you?
The church teaches us that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and that since vampire evolved without eyes, it is a soulless creature to be eradicated. But I have seen the soul of the vampire, and let me tell you, it is far more pure than that of any man. Now you ask me what I am.
Yeah, I've had enough of that.
Yeah, so look, here's the thing.
Everybody talks like this.
There's a lot of that.
When he said, have you ever had real roast duck? I was thinking, well, that's not real.
This isn't just roast duck.
Yes,
this is
with
real
hoisin
roast.
sauce. What's the big deal?
So look, I went into this. I liked Legion very much. Legion was basically, Paul Bettany is the same director, and it was Paul Bettany's Angels with Uzis, and it was like the apocalypse being played out in a roadside motel cafe. And, Paul Bettany turns up, but they've got angels with guns, and it was fun. It was stupid, but it was really good fun. It got some very bad reviews, but I rather enjoyed it. And I kind of went into this thinking, okay, we're going to get the same, throwaway popcorn, fun kind of thing. It's based on a Tokyo Pop source. It's got Paul Bettany. It's got Brad Dourif doing that usual I'm Brad Dourif. That means I'm only going to be here for a day shooting, but get what you can out of me for the cameos. It's got Christopher Plummer as the, one of the high ups in the church saying, no, there are no vampires anymore. Anyone who believes there are still vampires is sinning not only against the church, but also, no, you must not do this. And then, of course, he goes off and does the sort of sinister bit. And he said in some of the notes, he doesn't generally like this kind of movie, but this movie had better ideas. And there's an awful lot of running and jumping, and there's a lot of it takes place on a train. There's running along the side of a train, big motorbikes, and there are three central characters who end up looking like the three people out of the Matrix, and it's all retrofitted into 3D, so you get the kind of the 3D. So, and here's what I thought. I went in thinking, okay, fine, Paul Bettany, genre movie, popcorn entertainment, quite jolly sauce, quite like the director's track record. He's an effects guy. There's some good monsters, and that's a good cast. That's a good cast to do sort of good, graphic novel, chewy fun. And about 20 minutes in, I was thinking, okay, come on, it's going to kick in, it's going to kick in, it's going to start kicking in, it's really going to start, Paul Bettany's going to get the stuff too, because Paul Bettany is a magnetic screen presence. And in fact, one of the things that he did in Legion was demonstrate that nobody can make more of sort of very ripe dialogue than he can. Because you remember in the Da Vinci Code, because he's in the Da Vinci Code, and he's the one good thing in the Da Vinci Code, he's doing a
albino.
He's
the albino Methodist
He's the
killer.
albino Methodist killer, that's right. He was doing a good line in strange, priestly characters. 40 minutes in, I was thinking, it's not. Why isn't it starting yet? Because now the train's barreling along and everyone's ripping and there's monsters everywhere and it was one of those things in which you just thought, you know what? The problem with this is it doesn't have anything like the wit or the humour or the bite or the edge of Legion. And in the end, despite everything that's going on, despite how I feel about Paul Bettany, despite the fact that I think the director is, visually quite interesting, it was just a bit dull. And it felt a bit like I've seen it all before. I've seen these riffs before. That looks like the bit out of The Matrix. That looks like the bit of The Thing. There's Brad. He's doing that. And I think the kindest response to it would be, it's all surface and no substance. But the problem with it is that Legion was all surface and no substance, but it was good fun, all surface and no substance. What it really felt like it was dragging itself. I'm sorry to sound like a stuck record, but the 3D added absolutely nothing. And for large sections of it, I took the 3D glasses off and watched it where it was brighter, better, clearer, obviously. And it's interesting when you get to the end of the movie. There's all the credits for the digital conversion, 3D conversion done by because you shoot flat and then you convert it afterwards. And despite the monsters, despite the characters that I like, despite the fact that I think that's a director who can work quite well with a pop sensibility, despite the fact that you went to the extent of putting on a priestly robe, but despite all those things, it was boring.